Alright guys, so kicking off from where we left off, you will notice that I do have Maya open, I've got Photoshop ready, and I've got the Unreal Engine ready for us as well, so I would recommend just getting those ready. First off, I just want to knock this piece out here real quick, our gutter drain pipe. It's a little too skinny, I think. I want to bump up its width here before we get started, so I'm just going to go hit R for my scale tool, just something like that. That should be fine. That should do us just good for now. And we'll jump back into Photoshop. I've already got it opened up in here. So again, I just want to knock this one out real quick. Not gonna spend too much time on it, but dive into my textures. I did find a nice kind of siding. I like the material of it, so I'm gonna use it. Okay. And where did that thing go? Is this one? Yep. Very good. Drag it in. Alrighty. There we go. And then so obviously I don't want these lines going through all this stuff, so, and yeah, since I've already got the image, I'm just gonna kind of be pretty destructive with this one. Thinking I'm just gonna use my clone stamp tool, bump up this, hold Alt, I can take a sample from here, come over here, and then I'm gonna hold Shift and bring a straight line down, and just do that. Just get rid of these lines. So basically it's sampling like this image and like taking a little chunk of it and painting it over that side. And I'm holding Shift while I drag down. Keep it straight. And I just Googled, let's see, what I Googled, I think like white metal siding and found this one. I really liked it. But yeah, just scour the web, and CG Textures again is always a highly recommended one that I use just because they're all royalty free, copyright free. But then yeah, just find something. And I just chose this because it's a good material to put over it. Cool. And yeah, really don't want to put too much work into this one. Just want to kind of get this over the top of it, save it off as the color channel. We might come back to it, but for right now, yep, save, file, save as, jump on the source images. Save. Come on. There we go. Alright. Jump back over into here. Right clicking over it, assign existing material. I want my gutter drain pipe. Oh, okay. It's weird that that happened. Sorry, we'll just select them both. Shift deselect the bigger one. I'll just delete that one in there. Must have accidentally copied it or something. Let's see, is this one gonna mess up on me? Yeah. Huh. Okay. Move that out of the way. Out of the way. Let's scale that one up as well. And delete the face on here. Don't need that. I already did that with this one, so cool. Good deal. Color map. File. Gutter, drain, pipe. There you go. Open it. And so we just got this texture going over it. So nothing too fancy. And there we go. Alright, so let's dive into what I really wanted to talk about. I think I must have, I don't know if I stirred you guys wrong in a previous video, but yeah, for our, I think, did we try and apply a specular map to that? In a previous video? I think we might have. I didn't open it. Okay. Well, I don't need this open anymore. Let's see here. Source images. Let me go back to my images. Get that brick base opened up. Oh, hold on. Where did it go? Oh, it's because it's part of this. That's right. Duh. There it is. Alright, so, I think... What the... Okay, yeah, so I know kind of what I want to go back. So our spec map was looking at the way we did it before. You know, adjusting the levels, playing with the brightness and contrast. It's all good. Let's see here. I do want to change one thing. This the grout in here should not be lighter than the actual stone. It's not going to reflect more light off of it. So I think what we'll end up doing is I want my brightness and contrast, use legacy. I just want to play with this stuff a little more. Bump it down. Yeah, because we're not going to have, unless the stone is wet, we're not going to have too much reflectivity in the stone. So I mean, we could create a separate specular map if we wanted to have it wet, which wouldn't be a problem. Just want to look this stuff over here real quick. And you know what, I think for... Let me see here. It did line up. Everything is lined up on both of these. Did turn out okay. I was almost thinking about just having the UVs overlap, but we got it on track, so that's looking good. And, let's see what I do want to do. I'm gonna group all these up. mask on top of them. Let's bump this up. Because I want to do these separately. I want these to have their own spec that we're working with, so I'm just going to mask them out. Is that just how our color map looks? Yeah, I guess so, okay. Turn that texture off. So you can see over here, I just want to make sure. Kind of get like that OCD going, I want to make sure it's all blacked in. So that's good. I like that. And then, so I guess I want to just kind of do this like specular for bricks. And I'm gonna put those guys in a group. Spec low half. And then I'm gonna make another, and we're gonna do like the same formula for this stuff too, so we'll just make another hue saturation, desaturate, and what I'll end up doing is I'll just, with all this stuff I'm working with, I'll mask this stuff out so we're only affecting this area. Just turn the lightness. I don't really want to do that. So I desaturated it, not that I really needed to, but did anyway. We'll go to my levels. Actually, no, I want my curves. And I'm just gonna pull it right below that 50% gray. Good. And then one more thing. Play with that brightness and contrast, legacy. Turn the beef up the contrast a little bit. Just so we do get like some flakiness in there. Maybe just a tad. Turn the brightness down. Because it's stone, it's not going to reflect a lot of light. And so the closer we get it to black, the less light it's going to reflect. So I'm actually going to leave the contrast at 1. But like, if it was going to be like wet, like if we were going to have like a rainy scene, we would probably bump that contrast up to get some more of that flakiness in there. And then we'll do that as spec top half. And I'll throw a mask over it. And we'll mask out this stuff down here. Oops. And this stone is pretty similar to this stuff, so I could actually thinking about leaving it. I think it's too much at this point. So let me come back like that. Alright. So I think that'll work fine for us right now. Looks good. I'll do a file save. And file save as. source images. Sod. Spec. See that it was a Targa. Save. Because I actually do want to delete that. That was a test. I'm going to get rid of that. And this is a... Yeah, so this one, I want that one gone. So yeah, that old spec map we made, just get rid of that. Because it should not... We put it in the wrong channel, so let me see here. How do I fix that? So this is just a Lambert texture. I'm going to change it to my Phong. You know, so renamed it, so rename that to Sod. Actually want it as that. And how do I go back? And this actually gives us a specular color channel. That's where I want to throw that spec in. File. Spec that one. So it gives us a little bit of a different look. And actually I kind of want to jump into Unreal and just put it in here. Just a different, because this is what I really want to render it in, is the game engine, so I'm just going to take it over here for the test. And I'll go my source images folder, Sod, drag that in there. Get rid of that, of course delete that. I was working on the floor a little bit, just wanted to test some things out. And now it's reloading everything. So now that I've got the garage FBX selected, and we're gonna swap this one out too because we did change some things. So we're gonna end up swapping it out. But let me see. I think this is the one I want. Double click it. And so you can see in here, I mean, it is reloading, but we have our normal map from earlier that we made. It gives us that specular channel. I'm gonna grab that spec map, just click and drag it, and drop it in here, like so. And then feed it in the specular channel, hit apply. And then it will just take a second for this to kind of process it all and think about it, so take a coffee break, wait it out, you know. Won't take too long, but you can see it's loading back up in here and everything, so there it is. Come back in here, you can see it's waiting it out, so almost tempted to pause the video, but it's only gonna take a couple more seconds. Oh, that keeps jumping over. Here, I'm gonna pause it just until this gets done, and then I'll resume the video. Alright, so I think it's kinda done thinking about it. Still not really processing it, but let me just I'm gonna play it. Cause I mean, in the viewport and in the actual like game preview, it's very different. So And I just went up, when you hit play, you can actually hit that arrow, drop down arrow, and then I put it as a standalone game. So I hope that didn't stop it from actually doing it. Coffee. So let's just see here. So here we go, and just building the lighting and everything. So I mean, I think it's looking a lot better. And again, it's daylight, and we're just using the skybox for the lighting. But it's just those little details that kind of just help push it along the way. And oh, you can see we got some lighting issues in here, so we'll have to come in and address that. But overall, I mean, she's really coming together, I think. Actually, walk around in here. Shoot it. All right. So, and then hit your tilde key and we can exit out of there. So I'm actually gonna delete this whole thing because we are gonna re-import it. But moving on. So since we got this fixed out the way we wanted to, I'm gonna select the whole thing. File, export selection. And then I'm just gonna override that garage hole. Yep. Just replace it. Good. Come back in here. We'll go to our scenes. And then it should be, so I just deleted it from the scene there. I'm gonna actually delete that garage from the project folder. Force delete it. Yep, that's fine. I'm gonna re-import it all anyway. And where's that? Oh, it just passed it. There it is. Drag that one in. Import all. Stay over there. Alright, I'll pause the video until it's done importing it. Alright, so we're back. Let's drag it back in. And I'm thinking this should hopefully be like the last, one of my last imports. Having to redo it. For a while anyway. And again, scale it up by a factor of 100, that's how we planned it out. And let me rotate it around. Like so. And build our lighting. And that's going to take a minute too. So again, I'm going to pause the video and have a little bit of a coffee break. Alright, so we're back. Got the lighting built for the scene, and so I'm going to have to mess around with the lighting a little bit in the engine, but oh, hold on, cancel. We're going to actually have to go back in and do what we did before, apply those spec maps and whatnot. Oh, maybe They stayed with it. Alright. I like that. I don't like how it does that though. I like, you know, left to right. Alright, so that's all there. Apply. Close that out. And let's just play as, yep, save everything. And let's play it in that standalone viewport and just see how she looks. Wait for it. Maybe. There it is. But again, not going to see really big changes here, but you know, the small details, they pay off in the long run. You know, they just kind of help it go that extra mile. And here we go. So here's an interesting kind of view. We got the shadows working in here. You can kind of see that how that spec map is working for us. You know, it just keeps these areas nice and dark, and not reflective. You know, just how we want it to look, pretty much. And it helps with distributing the light. See how we're interacting with the light. So you can see here. I mean, this one is it's the most in shadow. It's pretty dark, and then down here we got a little more light catching it, but still, it's not like too dramatic or anything. And this just seems to keep happening. We're gonna have to dive into that. Just kind of some technical issues. I think it's just how close it might be with, or how the light's interacting with them. It just seems to be like a lighting issue for these, but you know, I really love how these normal maps are coming through too as well that we applied before. You can really tell it gives it a nice, really gives it just that extra oomph and that texture that we really wanted instead of looking flat. Um, so I was really happy with that. Would have to redo the collision on here so I can actually walk in here, but you can just see that there's some issues with it. You move it up a little bit so it's not flickering. It's Z fighting right now with the ground, but yeah. So let's move on. Let's knock the rest of this stuff out. Move that up just a little bit. There you go. All right, so let's dive back into Photoshop if I can. There she is. Okay. Chugging a little bit on me here. So I like that. I'll close that one out. This would be a pretty easy one to knock out real quick as well. Let's get this stuff all grouped up. And diffuse. Yeah, by the way, the diffuse channel is your, like, for your color map. This is another phrase for your color mapping. So and your color map is going to be your texture. It's also called, like, an albedo map, too. And, like, I know, like, in Unity, they started calling it that now, too. But it's just, I really haven't looked into it as to why that is. Maybe it's like a new kind of thing coming out. I don't know, but I know Marmoset calls it that too, and so I'm sure other softwares are referring to it as the same thing. But yeah, for this one, we're gonna use the same formula basically, and I'm just gonna Control J that, and call it specular. And then we'll just turn that off, and we'll add some, and we'll just do that same formula we were doing before. So I'll go with my hue and saturation, take all the saturation out of it, add another. I'll go to my my color balance. No, that's not what I wanted actually. I want to go into my levels. No, I want to go to my, excuse me, I want to go into my curves and knock that below at 50. Now since this is like a tin, or I mean, I don't know, I kind of think of this as gonna be more like a tin siding kind of deal. I know it's like zinc or whatever, but something like that. So we're just gonna, it's gonna be a little more reflective, but not too much, because it's not a very, it's kind of like just steel or tin, you know. It's not, they're not shiny. It's a pretty rough deal. So we're gonna go in there, and then my brightness and contrast, use legacy, and we're gonna fiddle around with this a little bit. I do want some spots to be, you know, pop out a little more, but overall it's not a really reflective surface. Now if we were going like with glass, or maybe a wet concrete, or trying to think of things that would just give off more reflectivity, plastics, um, that kind of thing, we would these maps would look totally different. And so we got that going on. We'll group that stuff up, and that's gonna be our spec. Call them channels or adjustments. And one more thing I did want to do, I want to play with this a little bit. Make a new layer. I'm just gonna fill it with black. So where's my paint bucket? I'm gonna fill it with black. I'm gonna go to my filter, render, difference clouds, and it just kind of helps us kind of like randomize it a little bit. And so if I just keep applying that filter, we can kind of like dirty it up. Just kind of throw some more randomness in there. I'm just gonna keep doing it until I kind of find something I like. Oh, filter. Let's see what clouds does. Filter, render, difference clouds. Filter, render, difference. Hmm. Let me go back to my clouds. Filter, difference. I think that'll work for us. And then all I'm gonna do is take that opacity, turn it down, just to add like some more randomness in the overall piece. And oops, cancel that. Rename that to base. Then I'm gonna group all that stuff up again. Spec. Like it. Throw whoops. Throw a mask on it. just clean it up. And it'll actually make the overall image size smaller too when we save it out. Not by much, but every little bit helps. File, I'll just save it. And file, save as. Oops, okay, fine, I'll let you save. A little too impatient, I guess. Let's get rid of the out UV and spec. Put spec at the end. And Targa. Save. Good deal. Specular color channel. File. Where's my there it is. But I mean that's gonna be for rendering's sake. If I want to render it out in Maya. But I'm gonna jump back over here as well. And I think this is the one I want. And it's again it's just double clicking that box brings this up. And I'm gonna drag in my source images. I'm gonna find that spec map we just did. Drag it in there. Very good. Drag it up into here. Hook that up. Apply. And while we're, let's see, did it load up already? It might have. So yeah, let's just keep moving on. I want to tackle the floor next. Floor spec. Alright. So we've got the floor. And again, just following that same formula. Copy it and spec base. And just gonna add those adjustments. In saturation, so. I mean, yeah, we're just going about it like the quick and dirty way. But, you know, there might be some instances where you might have to do a little more hand painting. And mostly for like characters and weapons, things like that. That nature. It's kind of like the smaller, the more fine detail stuff. But for these larger environment pieces, we can kind of get away with this stuff. And I mean, and let me see here. I'm gonna go to my curves. And that's actually gonna work out really good for us. So I want like these rivets to, or whatever the heck you'd call them, to have a little more of a reflectivity than the overall base. And legacy, something like that. I'm liking that. And put those in there. Clean up my spec adjustments again. And I kind of like that cloud thing that we did the last time too, so I'm gonna try that again. New layer, all black, filter, render, or Just take that opacity down. So like maybe we could like add some oil spots or something on the floor. Something like that. Because we are going to put a vehicle in there at some point. I think we could knock that out real quick right now. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to the idea in a minute. That's why we work non-destructive, work in layers. I think we could do that. Working with this, I think we could throw some oil spots in here. I think that would look pretty cool. I'm gonna group it all up. Let's call it spec. You know, for right now, I'm gonna turn that off so it's clean, and then I think we'll jump back maybe at the tail end of this video and maybe add some oil spots on the floor. See how I feel. Got that spec saved. Jump over into here. And for spec. Open it. Jump back into here. And then where's my floor? Right there. Let's get rid of that. And with this, you can kind of play with some of like the settings in here to really tweak it within the game engine. As well as this too. Sample type. Oh. Maybe I just shouldn't touch it right now. It's getting mad at me. And we'll just keep moving on. So, got that spec knocked out. So here's our ceiling. We can adjust that. This is from before. I kind of fine-tuned it a little bit. Let's duplicate that. Spec base. And again, I'm just sticking with that very basic formula. Curves. And then we're working with wood here. Not going to see too much reflectivity out of it. I do want to get like some reflectivity in the wood green, but nothing too much. try to use Legacy. Oops. There we go. Kind of like how that. Oops. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I just want it very subtle. Again, wood, not very reflective. Bring out a little something though. The wood grain there. Let's group these guys up. Spec. File, save. File, save as. Spec. Jump back into here first. And apply. Photoshop. Like that guy out, so we just got that brick base and our side walls. Cool, like it. Let me just jump back into here. Got that ceiling. Specular color, file. Open. And again, not gonna see anything in this render viewport. Can I change my... Let's just see what happens when I use a different viewport. Probably just crashed it. Alright. I'm gonna save this before I crash it. Hopefully she comes back to me. Oh no. Come on. The whole computer's just chugging. This is why you save early, because now I'm having like a mini heart attack. Granted, I didn't do too much in Maya on this one, so... Oh. There she goes. Yay! Alright, we survived. Do I even dare? Yeah, let me give this a good ol'... Oh, look at that. Viewport looks a lot different. Do a good file, save as. I'm gonna call this 20, and then exterior details, exterior texture spec. Save. Let me jump back in that viewport 2.0. Alright, that's better. I think in that legacy, it's actually like like using some world lighting techniques or something. Here's your diffuse. Not my levels. My curves. And again, I just like to drop it below that 50% gray mark. Brightness, contrast, use legacy. Let's give it a little bit. I'll keep those flakes in there because, you know, sometimes you get like a little from different rocks that could be embedded in something like that. You get like some flaking action. Spec adjustments. Spec. And save. File. Save as. Boom. Source images. Spec. And give me a target. Save. Jump up into here. There we go. Brick block face. I hate that. Oh, I hate that it does that. Just bring it right here. Left to right. Uh-oh. What did I do now? I don't even know. There we go. And apply. We are just chugging. Alright, almost an hour in. We've got all of our, most of our spec maps done. Oh, I opened up twice. Okay. So boom, let's just knock out this sidewall real quick. Spec base. Again, just following that formula. Saturation. Boom, no saturation for you. I always keep going at levels. I want my curves. Curves. Get it below that. Get something like that. And my brightness contrast. Use that legacy. I want a little bit of it to shine through. Ain't gonna be much. Something like that. Save. Alright, let's wrap this up pretty quick. Good deal. Is that normal from before? And apply. Alright. Let's not close those guys out. And yep, reloading that wall. Let's jump in and take a look at the final product. I hit the play. I'm gonna pause it for you guys, and then I'll resume the video once I'll resume the video once it gets loaded up here. Alright, so back in. Lighting does need to be rebuilt. It's great. Love having to do that every time. Got some flickering action going on here. But overall it looks like those spec maps are working for us. Even. So yeah, it does look a lot different. I mean, it's subtle, but the changes are definitely there. We are gonna have to do this guy too. I forgot about him. I think once we rebuild the lighting, this flickering should hopefully go away. But overall, I'm liking it. Let's get rid of that. And I did wanna... Can't believe I forgot about that little guy there. Let me see here. Where did that wall trim? There it is. This will be very quick. Let's just get it knocked out. Oh. And then it's a little more of a shiny metal. Let me go back to my hue saturation. Put that below that. That saturation on there. For this one, I did want to do something a little different too. Now, if I hit, and I believe if I hit Control I, I can invert it. There we go. So I inverted that data. Gives you something a little different. Hit Control I again. Not quite what I wanted. So I really don't want it to be so washed out here. So I think this is going to be one where we kind of do it ourselves. Just because it is a little weird. So I'm going to actually group these up. Spec. Just let me turn that off though. I think what I want to do for this one, we're just going to put a gradient on it. Because I want it kind of be like a streak down the middle. And then kind of like a blended out kind of deal, you know? So I'm going to go to my gradient tool. Go into my gradients. I'll bump that up. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So just something pretty basic like so. And let's just see how that works for us. Whoops. And we'll just put it on a new layer actually, so. This is going to be from here to here. A little something like that. That's a little too much though for me. So we can actually put an adjustment layer on top of it, do you think? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I can just play with that gradient a little more, that'd make my life easier. So let's just add that, click under it, and I'll make these just more of a darker gray, just to give us a better blend. I'm just kind of have them creep in. Whoops. And I'll stretch that out. So it's more of like a pin light. Let's see how that looks for us. A little better. A little too much. Let's just turn this down a little bit. That might do us. That might do it for us. So just save. Put all that in a group. Spec. Save. File. Save as. Targa. Source images. Spec. Save. Good. Let's hop over here. I have to do it. I just have to move that every single time. I love that node editor, but it just gets to me. Spec. Apply. Jump into Maya. Do the same thing. save that. Save. This should pretty much be wrapping up our video. Right before I let you guys go, I'm gonna rebuild the lighting and then play the game just to give it one more look over. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll jump right back in for the final preview. Alright, got everything built. I got the lighting built and I just hit play. So I just want to wait for it to pop up real quick. Just to give it one more look before we move on. So I mean, some lighting issues and whatnot we're gonna have to address later on, but overall I think the piece is coming along. I think we can actually move on to the interior of it. I feel pretty confident. Just want to look over all those details. I'm gonna have to figure out what all this flickering and black spots are about. But yeah, you can kind of really see that specular map working on those in the background there. They're a little less light along the edges and a little more along the center. But yeah, so I'm gonna work out some of these technical issues and I'll make a video on that. But then yeah, we're ready to go on and start actually making the interior. We'll build some shelves and tools and whatnot and really make this thing complete. So as always, thank you so much for watching and please subscribe and share the video. So thank you.